There's this very specific kind of insomnia I get sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's not from coffee or, stress, not. Yeah, it's caused by contradictions. It's when my brain just gets stuck trying to mash two things together that absolutely should not work.
Like oil and water.
Exactly like oil and water. And yet somehow they're being forced into the same story, the same container. And it just keeps me up.
That is I have to say, a very philosophical brand of insomnia.
Well, bear with me here. I'm thinking about storytelling. I'm thinking about genres. So, in one corner of the ring, you've got the romance genre. It's warm, it's fuzzy, it's all about vulnerability and connection and, building a life together. It's the happy sigh genre.
Yeah, happy sci genre. I like that, right?
Yeah.
And in the other corner.
The suspense thriller. It's cold, it's hard, it's frankly terrifying. It's built on suspicion, isolation, and the very, very real threat that life is about to end. It's the hold your breath genre.
Yeah, I see exactly where you're going with this. One is all about coming together, and the other is about constantly looking over your shoulder.
Yes. So my big question to you and really to everyone listening is, can you actually do both? Can you effectively balance those two things?
I mean, can you have a tender candlelight dinner in the middle of a high-speed car chase without it just feeling
ridiculous? Yes. Or does one just inevitably water down the other? That right there is the mission for today's deep dive. We're going to dig into the mechanics of storytelling itself, and we're using a masterclass case study, Tami Hoag's novel, Heart of Gold.
And we have a serious stack of sources to get through today. I'm really excited about this. We're not just, looking at the plot of the book, and specifically we're focusing on the first 9 chapters.
Right.
But we've also got the author's note from the book, which is surprisingly revealing about her whole career. We have a whole collection of critical praise, accolades from places like the Washington Post, Publishers Weekly, and we've even got some general analysis on the structure of the suspense genre itself.
That author's note, I have to say, it really caught my eye right away. It feels like it frames this entire discussion we're about to have. Hoag didn't start out as a thriller writer, did she?
No, and that is the absolute key to all of this. That's the context. She started out in Bantam's Love Swept line.
Love Swept.
Pure, 100% unapologetic romance novels. And then she made this huge transition into these heavy-hitting New York Times bestsellers in the thriller genre. I mean, big titles like The Alibi Man and Dark Horse.
Which on the surface sounds like a complete career pivot. It's like a baker deciding to become a butcher.
Yeah.
But she argues that it's really not.
She does, and she has this core philosophy that we found in the source material that I think is just brilliant. She says, and I'm quoting here, "Every good story needs characters to root for and a mystery to figure out whether that mystery is a crime or the complex emotion of love."
Wow, that is such a good line. The mystery of love.
Isn't it? She's basically arguing that the intricate mechanics of the human heart are just as complex and, just as dangerous in their own way as a detailed murder plot.
So to really understand this story, we can't just look for the clues. We have to look at the chemistry.
That's it.
Okay, so let's get into it. We're analyzing the first 9 chapters of Heart of Gold. We are going to look at character dynamics, forced proximity, and what happens when a, quote, normal life collides head-on with the world of high-stakes crime.
Let's dive in.
All right, Section 1, the foundation. And we have to start with the prologue. I mean, the atmosphere here is just, it's so thick you can feel it. Spring 1977, University of Notre Dame.
It's a total sensory overload, and it's so intentional. Hoag creates this baseline of innocence. You've got St. Mary's Lake. You have the grotto, the smell of spring flowers.
And then Alice Cooper blasting from a dorm room window.
Right. Which is such a specific, perfect detail. It immediately takes the scene and it gives it this little edge, this rebellious, youthful energy. You can almost smell the cut grass and maybe some cheap beer.
Totally. It's nostalgic, but it's loud, it's vibrant. And this is where we meet them. The fearsome foursome.
The fearsome foursome. And they bonded over a medieval sociology class of all things.
So it has to be the nerdiest, most wonderful way to start a lifelong friendship group. I love it. It tells you right away that these are smart kids.
It does.
But let's break these 4 down, because they aren't just random friends. They feel like archetypes, almost.
Oh, they are absolutely archetypes. Hoag sketches them out with these really clear, concise strokes to set up all dynamics for the rest of the book. First up, you have Faith Kincaid. She is the center of our wheel today.
The heroine. The one with the sunny smile.
The sunny smile, exactly.
Yeah.
She is the hopeless romantic, capital H, capital R. Her dream isn't fame or, a high-powered career. The text explicitly says she wants the white picket fence.
Husband, children, a small business.
That's it. She represents optimism. She fundamentally believes the world is a good place.
Which, as we know in a thriller, is basically like painting a giant target on your back.
Pretty much. Then you have Elaine Montgomery.
The cynic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She's the cynic. She's described as tall, cool, poised. She's on her way to law school, and the source says she, quote, abhors losing. She's the pragmatist. If Faith is the heart of the group, Elena is the brain.
And then there's Jane Jordan.
Jane is the eccentric. She is the spirit. Petite, artsy. She's destined for Hollywood, but she's also really into what she calls cosmic reality.
She brings the chaotic energy.
Totally. She's the one who believes in vibes and auras and all of that.
And rounding out the group, Brian Hennessy.
Brian is the protector. He's positioned as the surrogate big brother, the glue that holds them all together. He's confident, a little quirky. He's into parapsychology.
Of course he is.
And he's the one who's actually taking the photograph that freezes this entire moment in time for them.
There's a moment in this prologue that I think is it's so crucial. They're setting up for this group photo, and a rainbow appears over the golden dome of the administration building.
Mm-hmm.
And this immediately triggers an argument that basically defines their entire worldviews.
It's a perfect litmus test for who they are. It
Yeah.
really is. Faith sees it, and she just gasps. She sees the pure beauty of it. She takes it completely at face value. Jane, of course, sees it as a cosmic sign, a blessing from the universe.
Right. But
Elena, the future lawyer, just deadpans. It's the diffusion of light through raindrops. She strips all the magic right out of the moment.
It's so brutal. It's like she's dissecting a miracle on a lab table.
She is, and Brian immediately counters her. He says, it'd do you some good to believe in magic, Elena. But then he drops this line that just hits you like a ton of bricks when you read it in hindsight.
What's the line?
He looks at all of them and says, we'll each be chasing our own rainbows after today.
Oof. Foreshadowing 101 right there.
Big time. Because they have this shared dream, this collective fantasy. They call it the Anastasia dream.
Right. They all want to move to this rugged coastal town in California, Anastasia, and just live happily ever after.
Exactly. Faith wants to run an inn. Jane wants to have a farm. It represents their shared ideal life. It's their utopia.
It's their pot of gold at the end of all their separate rainbows.
Perfectly put.
Yeah.
And the prologue ends right on that moment with the sound of the camera shutter clicking. It freezes them in that perfect, hopeful moment. But the transition to the next chapter is, it's jarring.
Just like falling off a cliff.
It's designed that way. We go from these bright, shiny dreams of the future straight to the cold, hard, messy reality of the present. Hoag just rips that rug out from under us to show that, time isn't always kind to idealists.
So that brings us right to section 2, the collision.
Mm-hmm.
We fast forward to the present day, and we are in Anastasia, California. Faith is there. She actually made it.
She made it.
But it's not the dream, is it?
Yeah.
Not even close.
No, the dream has been seriously tarnished. Faith is now divorced from a senator, William Gerard. She's renovating this huge, eccentric, and kind of run-down property called the Keepsake Inn.
But she's not living in a Hallmark movie.
Far from it. She is a key witness in a massive federal corruption trial called DataScam.
DataScam. It definitely sounds like a headline from the 90s. Reminds me of all those .com bubble-era scandals.
It really does. But the stakes are timeless. Her ex-husband was caught up in bribery, racketeering, something to do with defense contracts, and Faith is the one who turned him in.
She did the right thing, the moral thing.
Yes, but now she's dealing with the consequences. There are threats. The Justice Department is involved, and she's resisting their help.
And this is exactly where the genres collide. You've got Faith, who is literally trying to build a domestic life. She's sanding floors and picking out paint colors for this inn.
And then the inciting incident for the thriller plot literally knocks on her door.
Enter the hero. Or maybe the anti-hero. Shane Callan.
This is the classic meet cute, but it's twisted into what I'd call a meet hostel.
Okay, I love that. A meet hostel. Let's break that down, because I think a meet hostel can actually be way more romantic than a meet cute if you do it right.
Well, let's just look at the visual contrast right from the jump. Faith is having this ridiculously chaotic day. Her 4-year-old daughter, Lindy, is asking where babies come from.
The conversation every parent dreads.
Absolutely. And Faith is described as wearing a worn-out Notre Dame sweatshirt. Her hair is a mess. She is the absolute embodiment of the stressed single mom. She's soft, she's approachable, but she's definitely frayed around the edges.
And Shane.
Shane is her polar opposite. The text says he radiates elegance and danger. He's in a gray raincoat, looking like a no-nonsense sort.
So he just shows up on her porch looking like a spy movie, and Faith's reaction isn't to swoon or be intrigued.
Her reaction is to slam the door right in his face.
I love that. She thinks he's a salesman. She tries to shoo him away. Even after he flashes his Justice Department badge, she's still trying to send him packing.
And this is so important for her character, for her agency. Faith is not a damsel waiting to be saved. She looks him in the eye and says, I told Mr. Banks it wasn't necessary to send you. She is actively resisting this intrusion.
The intrusion of the thriller genre into her life.
Exactly. She just wants normalcy. And Shane, just by standing there, forces the danger, the conflict upon her.
There's this great moment in the hallway right after he's sort of forced his way in. You can tell Shane is annoyed. This is just a babysitting duty for him. But he's noticing her.
He is. The source text is very specific about it. He notices the O of Notre Dame on her old sweatshirt. He notices that she's feisty, that she's pushing back, but you can feel him fighting the attraction.
Because he's a cynic.
He's a total cynic. He already assumes she's guilty, or at the very least she's complicit in her husband's crimes. He keeps calling her Mrs. Gerard, and she snaps back, Kincaid.
She's trying to sever that tie to her corrupt past, and he just keeps throwing it back in her face.
It's a power play.
I want to talk about the inn itself for a minute. The Keepsake Inn. It feels like more than just a setting. It really feels like another character in the room with them.
Oh, absolutely. It's a metaphor for Faith.
Yeah.
100%. It was built by this eccentric old sea captain, a guy named Captain Dugan, and it's just this monstrosity of different architectural styles, a little Victorian, some Italianate, a Cape Cod section, all just mashed together.
And Shane looks at this place, and his first thought is that it's indefensible.
Indefensible. Because he's looking at it with his agent brain. He's seeing tactical weaknesses, lines of sight, too many entry points.
He sees a security nightmare.
A total nightmare. A million windows, too many doors, all these little nooks and crannies where a threat could hide. But Faith looks at the same building and she sees a home, she sees charm.
It's open, it's chaotic, it's vulnerable.
Just like her. And to top it all off, there's even this local legend, a rumor of a ghost Captain Dugan's peg leg, thumping around in the attic.
The Kerthump.
The Kerthump, which Shane obviously thinks is absolute nonsense.
Of course he does.
He says he believes in Smith & Wesson, not ghosts. And that single line is the fundamental conflict of their worldviews right there. Faith believes in the unseen, in ghosts, in love, in the goodness of people. Shane believes only in what he can see and touch, and if necessary, shoot.
So we have the whole setup. Domesticity versus danger. Faith versus Shane. Idealism versus cynicism. Now, in Section 3, we really need to understand the protector. Because Shane is, well, he's complicated. He is not just some generic tough guy action hero.
Oh, no. He's a real piece of work. And the source material is great because it gives us direct access to his internal monologue, and it is a dark place to be.
What's going on there?
He feels like he's losing his edge. He's worried he's going soft. And we find out he's actually nursing a fresh bullet wound from a previous case, the Sylvanus case.
So he's the classic wounded warrior archetype.
Literally and figuratively. That shoulder wound is a physical manifestation of his emotional wounds. He is haunted by past failures. He has these recurring memories of a woman named Ellie Adamson, something that went wrong at Quantico, a training exercise where someone died because of what he sees as his mistake. And he's also reeling from the betrayal of a colleague, a guy named Adam Strauss, from that same Sylvanus case.
So how does all that baggage color his view of faith?
It makes him see the entire world in shades of gray. There's a line where he thinks the world is just made up of the guilty and the less guilty. He doesn't believe in true innocence anymore.
So he can't accept that Faith is just a decent person who got played by a corrupt politician.
He can't wrap his head around it. He keeps looking for her angle. He's probing, testing her, waiting for the other shoe to drop. He's waiting for her to reveal her true selfish nature.
But Faith really stands up to him. She doesn't just wither under his suspicion.
No, she pushes back hard. When he mocks her for believing in ghosts, she mocks him right back for his lack of imagination. They're constantly sparring this verbal jousting.
But then the thriller plot kicks in and changes the entire dynamic.
The phone call.
The phone call.
This is the pivot point for their entire relationship in these early chapters. They're arguing in the kitchen. Mr. Fitz, the cantankerous old caretaker, is there. He's this great comic relief, always smells of fish.
Right.
And suddenly the phone rings, and it's this jarring, modern sound in this old, dusty house. Faith answers it.
And the voice on the other end just says, "How would you like to be dead, Mrs. Gerard?"
Chilling, just so direct, so brutal. It's this violent violation of her domestic space. And you have to notice what happens in the second after she hangs up. It strips away all of Faith's prickly defenses instantly.
She doesn't scream. She doesn't run away.
No, she doesn't call Elena, her lawyer friend. She instinctively, immediately looks to Shane.
The source says she looks to him for strength.
And that one look validates his entire presence there. In that moment, it shifts them from adversaries to reluctant allies. She finally realizes on a gut level that she needs a monster to fight a monster.
And what does it do for Shane?
For Shane, it proves her fear is genuine. It's the first real crack in his cynical armor. He realizes this might not be an act. This woman and her child might actually be in real danger.
That's a great transition into our next section, section 4. Intimacy through vulnerability. Because just as they align professionally, things get intensely personal. And it's weird, because it all starts with Shane, the tough guy, getting sick.
The sickbed scene, it is a staple of the romance genre for a very good reason. Shane just collapses. That bullet wound in his shoulder, the one he's been ignoring, it's infected.
He's been pushing himself too hard, ignoring his own pain to do the job.
Classic tough guy move. And suddenly, the big, strong protector is the one who needs to be taken care of.
It's a total role reversal.
Complete role reversal. Faith becomes the caretaker. She's the one in charge. She sees him delirious with fever, mumbling, vulnerable. She's wiping his brow. This physical closeness where he is completely at her mercy breaks down that professional barrier.
But the real clincher, and I gotta say this is one of my favorite scenes in these chapters, is the coloring scene.
Oh, the coloring scene is just perfect. It's brilliant character work. Shane wakes up, he's groggy, and Faith's little daughter, Lindy, is there. She's operating on him with her toy medical kit.
So cute.
And then they start coloring together in a coloring book.
And this creates this incredibly humanizing moment. You have this lethal, cynical, hardened government agent sitting up in bed, meticulously coloring a picture of bedtime bear with a 4-year-old girl.
And Lindy delivers the killer line. She tells her mom, Shane's real good. He stays inside the lines.
Which is such a brilliant detail. Of course, Shane Callan stays inside the lines. He's a man who is all about control and precision.
Exactly. To Lindy, it's just a compliment about his coloring skills. But to Faith, watching this, it's a profound revelation about his character. It completely deconstructs that tough guy exterior she's been fighting.
She sees him not as just a weapon, but as a man who is capable of gentleness.
And that his precision isn't just for violence, it can be for care. It's the difference between a clenched fist and a steady, careful hand.
That is beautifully put. And then, following on the heels of that moment of gentleness, we get the piano scene.
The piano scene. This felt very cinematic to me as I was reading it.
Me too. Faith wakes up in the middle of the night. She hears music echoing through this huge empty inn. She follows the sound down to the old ballroom. And there's Shane playing this massive grand piano.
And he's not just plinking out chopsticks.
No, far from it. The music is described as being full of longing and aching tenderness.
And this is so crucial because Shane is a man who cannot or will not express his emotions verbally. He is locked down tight. He speaks in short sentences. He gives orders. He uses sarcasm as a shield.
But the music.
The music is the tell. It's his release valve. It's the only way the loneliness and the pain can get out.
And Faith hears it.
She hears it and she understands it. She realizes he's lonely. She realizes he's haunted by more than just the job. And that breaks down her own emotional barrier completely.
She doesn't run away. She goes and sits with him.
She sits with him in the quiet. And he actually apologizes. He says he's sorry for judging her earlier. And that's the moment. That's when the connection shifts from just, a physical attraction, he's handsome, she's pretty, to a real emotional resonance. They recognize the loneliness in each other.
So the walls are definitely coming down. Which brings us logically to section 5, crossing the line. We move from the intimacy of the sickbed and the piano bench to the much more public space of the beach.
A moment of manufactured normalcy. Shane agrees to take Faith and Lindy to the beach. The sun is shining. It's a deliberate respite from the thriller plot.
But the tension is still there, because while they're having this little picnic, Shane kisses Faith.
He does, while Lindy is a few feet away, completely absorbed in counting seashells.
Talk about priorities, right?
But look at the conversation they have during this trip. It's not just flirting. Shane admits to her why he is the way he is. He says he suppresses his emotions to survive. He literally says a clear head can mean the difference between life and death.
That's his whole mantra, his code.
And Faith challenges it. She's not impressed. She doesn't want a robot protecting her. She wants a human being. She argues that feeling things is what makes life worth saving in the first place.
But while they're having this incredibly intimate philosophical debate on a beach blanket, the source material cuts away.
The spy.
Yep. We get the antagonist's point of view. He's watching them from a boat out on the water through a telescope.
And he sees the inn on the cliff and says it's a mansion in the mist. Perfect setting for a murder.
That is just so creepy. It's this constant reminder that while these two people are tentatively, carefully falling in love, the clock is ticking.
It creates this intense, dramatic irony. We, the readers, know they're in the crosshairs, even when they're allowing themselves a moment of peace.
And that pressure, it acts like an accelerant for their relationship. They go back to the house. The sexual tension is just unbearable. And Faith makes the first move.
She does. She goes to his room. She knocks on the door and tells him, I've changed my mind.
Now, here is where that genre blend gets really, really interesting.
Yeah.
In a straight romance novel, this would be the triumphant moment, the start of their happily ever after. But because this is a romantic suspense novel, and because Shane is who he is, he immediately sets a boundary, even in the bedroom. He looks her in the eye and says, I can't make promises.
He was trying to manage expectations. He offers her physical protection. He offers her a physical escape for one night. But he explicitly tells her he cannot give her more.
Is he protecting her, or is he protecting himself?
I think he thinks he's protecting her from himself. He sees himself as damaged goods. He has this deep-seated belief that everyone he gets close to, everyone he cares about gets hurt. So he tries to keep it transactional. Just for tonight.
Yeah.
Cut.
But of course it isn't. They sleep together. And the text is, it's very specific, it's respectful, but it's incredibly passionate. And Faith has this major realization.
What's that?
That she experienced more genuine passion and connection in one single night with Shane than she did in 12 years of marriage to the senator.
Which is just a damning indictment of her marriage and the senator. It really highlights how starved she was for any kind of genuine affection or intimacy.
Absolutely. But then comes the morning after, the aftermath. And Faith, being the open-hearted, hopeless romantic that she is, she just comes out and says it. She confesses, I love you.
She can't help herself. It's who she is. She feels it, so she says it. She doesn't play games.
And Shane's reaction.
Pure terror. The text says he doesn't reject her physically. He holds her closer, in fact. But internally, he is in full-blown panic mode.
He's completely conflicted.
He's torn between his duty, his past trauma with Ellie Adamson, and this new, terrifying hope that maybe, just maybe, he could actually be happy. He's standing on the precipice of a whole new life, but he is terrified to jump.
And the thriller plot is about to give him a hard shove from behind. Which brings us to Section 6, the climax of tension. The threats are getting worse.
They're escalating. Letters start arriving, but they're sent from different postmarks all over the state to confuse any investigation. The killer is playing psychological games.
And Faith has had enough. She is done being a pawn. She comes up with a plan.
She wants to be the bait.
She wants to set a trap. She's tired of waiting to be a victim. And you know what? That's brave.
It's brave, but from Shane's perspective, it's reckless. And he absolutely loses his mind. He refuses, point blank.
He wants to do the opposite. He wants to move her to a safe house, stick her in witness protection. He wants to lock her in a tower where she'll be safe.
But Faith refuses to hide. And she has a powerful reason. She says she will not let another man manipulate her life and tell her where to go.
It's a massive, explosive argument.
And it happens in front of everyone. His boss, Banks, is there. Her friends Elena and Jane are there. And in the middle of this fight, Shane just explodes. He shouts, because I'm in love with you, damn it.
Boom. There it is. The confession we were all waiting for.
But it's not a romantic whisper. It's unprofessional. It's messy. It's angry. And it's completely, wonderfully human.
Yeah.
He can't use her as bait because he loves her. His professional objectivity is completely gone.
He's no longer the detached agent. He's the man in love.
And the killer seems to know exactly how to twist that knife. He knows the way to hurt Faith isn't to hurt her.
It's the threat to Lindy.
It's the threat to her child. Faith gets another call, and this time the voice explicitly says, I could take her and kill her.
I mean, as a parent, that is the ultimate nightmare. It's the one thing that can break even the strongest person.
And it breaks Faith. She hangs up the phone, screaming for Lindy, and runs to her daughter's room, and Lindy is gone. The room is empty.
The panic in this section of the source text is it's palpable. You can feel her heart pounding. They search the house, they search the grounds. Every second feels like an hour.
And for one horrible moment, you really think, this is it, the tragedy has happened. But then Shane, thinking fast, runs down to the beach, and he finds her.
She's safe, thank God.
She's safe. She's just playing behind a big rock with her little plastic dinosaurs. She just wandered off. But the emotional impact on Faith is absolutely devastating.
The terror breaks her.
It does. She realizes she isn't invincible. She realizes her love for her child is her greatest strength, but also her greatest vulnerability.
And in that moment of collapse, Shane is there. He comforts her. And he makes a new promise. He says, I won't leave you. And that feels like it's deeper than just the assignment.
It is. It's the moment he fully commits, not just to the job, but to the relationship. He steps into the role of the partner, the protector of the family, not just the agent protecting an asset. He finally accepts the vulnerability that comes with love.
So we've covered the whole narrative arc of these first 9 chapters, but I want to zoom out a bit for section 7 and really talk about the themes and character arcs.
Yeah.
What are we really looking at here thematically?
Well, the biggest, most obvious theme is trust versus cynicism. Faith represents, almost to a fault, blind trust. She believes in ghosts. She believes in the magic of rainbows. She believes people are generally good, even after being married to a crook.
She refuses to let the world harden her.
Exactly. And Shane is the polar opposite.
Total cynicism.
He's the guy who checks the closets for secret passages and assumes everyone has a hidden angle. And the whole story is about forcing these two opposing forces to meet in the middle.
Shane has to learn to trust his heart.
To color inside the lines with a kid, to let himself play the piano. And Faith has to learn that sometimes you really do need a guy with a gun. She has to learn to accept protection without sacrificing her own agency.
There's also this really interesting theme about the nature of protection.
Right, because there are 2 kinds of protection in this story. There's physical protection. The guns, the safe houses, the locks on the doors. Shane is an expert at that.
But there's another kind.
There's emotional protection. And Shane slowly learns that truly protecting Faith means more than just stopping a bullet. It means preserving her spirit. If he forces her into witness protection, if he locks her away, then the bad guys win anyway because they've destroyed her life, her dream. He realizes he has to protect her autonomy too.
And we should briefly touch on the supporting cast again, because they're not just window dressing. They really flesh out this world and these themes.
Oh, they're fantastic. Elena and Jane are like this perfect little Greek chorus. Elena is the skeptic. She's the one who grills Shane, who doesn't trust him yet. She's the voice of the audience asking the hard questions.
And Jane.
Jane is the comic relief with her mood rings and her talk about auras, but she's also surprisingly perceptive. She sees the emotional truth of the situation, the vibes between Faith and Shane, long before anyone else is willing to admit it.
And Mr. Fitz, the caretaker.
Mr. Fitz is just there to be a grumpy thorn in Shane's side, but he adds to that feeling that the inn is this weird, eccentric, found family. He's another person Faith is trying to protect.
So let's bring it all together for the outro. When we look at where the source material leaves us at the end of Chapter 9, where are we?
We are on a knife's edge, a complete powder keg, as you said earlier. Shane has finally admitted his love, but he did it reluctantly, angrily. He's mad about it because it makes him vulnerable.
And the threat is no longer distant. It's closing in. The killer is literally watching them through a telescope.
Right. And Faith is more determined than ever to end this thing. But she's also been shaken to her core. She's terrified for her child.
Pressure cooker.
It is. And it brings us right back to that idea from the intro, the blend of genres. Tami Hoag masterfully uses the romance to raise the stakes of the thriller.
Oh, so.
Well, think about it. If Shane didn't love Faith, the professional decision would be simple. Move the asset to a secure location. End of story. Mission accomplished.
It would be a tactical decision.
Yeah.
But because he loves her.
Because he loves her, he's compromised.
Yeah.
But he's also more motivated than he's ever been. Love complicates the tactical situation. It makes him desperate.
And desperation can lead to mistakes.
It can lead to mistakes, but it can also lead to incredible heroism. It gives him something real and tangible to fight for, not just a paycheck or a sense of duty to the Department of Justice.
So that's the big question, then, that I want to leave our listeners with today. Can a man whose entire survival, whose whole career, has depended on emotional detachment, can he truly protect a woman whose greatest strength comes from her emotional openness?
Or will his love for her become the very distraction, the very vulnerability that the killer has been counting on all along?
That is the million-dollar question.
And looking at a character like Shane Callan, I think he's about to find out that a clear head isn't always the best weapon you can have. Sometimes, maybe, you need a heart of gold.
Oh, very nice. A nice callback to the title. I see what you did there.
I had to do it. It was right there.
Well, that is all the time we have for today on this deep dive into Tami Hoag's Heart of Gold. I have to say, it is a fascinating study in character, suspense, and the art of the genre blend.
It certainly is a great read.
Until next time, keep your sources stacked and your mind open.